The galaxy had always looked down on humans, calling them primitive, weak, and unworthy of recognition, among the great civilizations that controlled star systems with ease. The alien empires had fleets that spanned light years, with weapons that could vaporize planets, yet on Earth the humans worked tirelessly, building ships, training pilots, studying strategies as if they knew the universe would one day demand their courage. On a small station orbiting Mars, Lieutenant Cara Dunn watched the approaching alien scout ships with calm eyes while her team moved with precision. She knew that the humans were underestimated, but she also knew that the moment of proving themselves had not yet arrived. In the streets of New Tokyo on Earth, engineers and scientists worked day and night, their hands moving over consoles and schematics, creating devices that the galaxy would never suspect would be so powerful. Every human was connected in purpose, and every human knew that survival meant using creativity and courage to the limits. Beyond the blue sky of Earth and the dusty red plains of Mars, humanity had spread quietly, building colonies that the galaxy ignored, but the humans did not ignore each other. They shared stories of resilience, teaching the young how to think fast, fight harder, and never give up. In orbit above Jupiter, Captain Riaz Malik examined the alien communications intercepts. He smiled slightly because the messages were filled with arrogance and underestimation. The aliens believed that a few warning shots and threats would scare the humans into surrender, but Malik knew that humans thrived under pressure. They had survived ice ages, plagues, and wars on their own planet. They had adapted to space. They had learned to turn scarcity into strategy, and the arrogance of the galaxy would soon meet the fury of human will. Meanwhile, on the edges of known space, an alien war council gathered. Their glowing holograms projected fleets and territories. The Empress of the Vraxi laughed at the reports of human movements, declaring them irrelevant, yet a hint of irritation crept into her eyes, because even small skirmishes had yielded unexpected losses. The humans fought differently. They did not follow the expected patterns. They improvised, they learned, they adapted, and they endured. And that was something alien commanders could not calculate. On Earth, in the sprawling deserts of Africa, children played beside old ruins, imagining battles with creatures that did not exist. Yet they grew up hearing tales of human courage and ingenuity, tales that inspired them to reach the stars. Humans were not waiting for permission to exist or for approval from alien races. They were building strength silently, and when the first alien attack came, it would meet more than resistance, it would meet preparation. Cara Dunn and her squad of pilots raced through the Martian skies, their ships glinting in the weak sun. They ran drills that the aliens would not understand, plotting trajectories that seemed reckless but were carefully calculated. Every move was rehearsed yet flexible. Every mind was sharp, and every heart beat with the knowledge that humans could surprise even the most powerful opponents. On Earth, scientists sent signals across the solar system encoded in ways designed to confuse aliens and teach humans new strategies. Even as the invaders approached, their eyes glimmered with anticipation, because humanity had always faced impossible odds and survived. And now the galaxy would learn that underestimating humans was a fatal mistake. As the alien ships drew closer, Cara gritted her teeth, her mind racing through possibilities. The humans had no illusions about what they faced, but they had confidence in each other, in their ships, in their courage. The first shots would be fired soon, and the universe would see that humans were not a species to be dismissed. The winds of Mars howled across the canyons as the pilots took formation, and for the first time in centuries, the humans of Earth and Mars and the colonies beyond felt the stirring of a challenge that could finally awaken the full force of their potential. They did not flinch. They did not falter. They only prepared to show the galaxy that humans were far from weak, and the alien arrogance would soon crumble under the storm of human ingenuity and courage. The alien ships advanced through the void with confidence, believing that their technology and numbers would crush humanity easily. But they had not accounted for the human mind, for human unpredictability, for the fire that burned in every human heart. As the first missiles streaked toward the Martian colonies, the humans responded with a calm ferocity that surprised even the most arrogant alien commanders. Pilots like Cara Dunn twisted and turned their ships, weaving through the enemy fire, using maneuvers that the aliens considered impossible. They fired back with energy bursts that seemed small but were aimed, with precision targeting weak points and causing explosions that rocked the alien formations. The humans on the ground coordinated with orbital stations guiding the pilots through complex traps and ambushes that made the alien fleets falter. The first strike was expected to be devastating to humanity, but instead it became the stage for their ingenuity and courage. The alien commanders stared at their screens, unable to understand how a species they called primitive could respond with such skill and coordination. On Mars, engineers watched from their consoles as the first alien ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The humans cheered silently, knowing that this was only the beginning, and that every loss inflicted on the invaders brought humanity closer to proving that they were not weak. On Earth, the news of the first human victories spread like wildfire across cities and colonies. Humans who had trained in simulations decades ago now found themselves executing strategies in real time and adapting faster than any alien could predict. Even civilians who had no formal training used improvised weapons and devices to defend supply lines and communication hubs, showing that humanity as a whole was a force to be reckoned with in the outer colonies. Captain Riaz Malik led a squadron through asteroid fields using the debris as shields against alien beams. His team moved with flawless coordination, knowing that a single mistake could cost them everything, yet they pressed forward, calculating risks and exploiting every opportunity to strike back. The aliens had expected panic and surrender, but all they found was resolve, determination, and courage that burned brighter than their weapons. The first human counterattack came when Cara Dune led a squadron into the flank of the alien formation using a narrow canyon on Mars as cover. They appeared suddenly, hitting multiple ships at once, creating chaos. The aliens scrambled, trying to regroup, but every move the humans made was precise. Every maneuver anticipated the next, and every strike inflicted damage that no one thought possible. Back on Earth, scientists activated experimental pulse cannons designed to disable alien shields. They fired remotely, targeting alien command ships, causing confusion and forcing the enemy to retreat or risk destruction. The humans coordinated across planets, across fleets, across colonies, working as one entity that the galaxy had never seen. The alien arrogance began to crack. Whispers of disbelief and fear traveled through their ranks. They had never faced a species that could respond so fast, adapt so well, and fight with such unity. They thought this would be an easy conquest, yet humanity was rewriting the rules with every move. The aftermath of the first strike left the aliens shaken and the humans emboldened. Families watched from safe zones as pilots and soldiers returned victorious with minor damages. The morale of humanity soared, knowing that they could stand against the invaders and even defeat them in battles that should have been lost. The galaxy would soon learn that humans did not break under pressure. They thrived under it, and the first strike was only the beginning of the storm that was about to be unleashed. Cara Dune landed her ship and looked at the horizon, at the remnants of the alien fleet. She felt the weight of responsibility and the surge of pride. The humans had struck back, and they had survived, and the aliens would remember this day not as a victory, but as the moment they realized that humanity was far stronger than anyone had imagined. Humanity had tasted victory, and it ignited a fire that spread across planets, colonies, and stations, from the icy rings of Saturn to the deserts of Mars to the cities on Earth. The humans were no longer defending. They were advancing, and every step forward was a statement that the galaxy had misjudged them. Captain Riaz Malik led a fleet through a dense asteroid field using the rocks as cover, while sensors and communications relays guided them silently, avoiding detection. The aliens thought the humans would retreat after the first battle, but instead they pressed further with careful precision and reckless courage. At the same time, human squads infiltrated enemy positions, capturing supply stations and sabotaging weapons. And every success was a morale boost for those fighting at the front and back at home. Scientists monitored alien movements, decoding signals and using the information to prepare traps and diversions. Engineers built improvised weapons from salvaged alien technology, enhancing their ships in ways the enemy could not anticipate. Even the youngest recruits learned to operate complex machinery and coordinate with seasoned pilots, proving that humanity's strength was not only in numbers or weapons but in adaptability and intelligence. The aliens panicked, as reports of human victories came from multiple sectors at once. They could not believe that a species they called primitive could act with such unity and foresight. They tried to send reinforcements and new commanders, but the humans were always a step ahead, anticipating movements, exploiting weaknesses, and striking where it hurt the most. On a remote colony, Cara Dune led an elite team to intercept a supply convoy carrying alien munitions. They moved silently through tunnels and abandoned structures, using the terrain to their advantage. They were outnumbered but not outsmarted, and with coordination and courage they captured the convoy and the aliens inside without a single casualty. The captured aliens were studied and interrogated, revealing weaknesses in tactics, communication, and morale. The humans learned quickly and implemented new strategies that turned alien arrogance into fear. Families and soldiers shared stories of these daring missions, creating legends that inspired even more courage across humanity. The turning point came when Riaz Malik's fleet cornered a high-ranking alien general near the asteroid belt. The general had led fleets that destroyed colonies and slaughtered innocents, yet now he was trapped by humans. He had underestimated every move. His arrogance had blinded him. He tried to negotiate, thinking that humans would surrender, but he was met with calm and unwavering eyes. He saw determination he had never seen before. He saw unity in action. He could not break. He saw humans willing to risk everything for one another, for their homes, and for a species he had considered inferior. The humans did not gloat. They did not celebrate excessively. They treated the captured general with respect and studied him, extracting intelligence that would save countless lives and provide advantages that no one else could predict. Across Earth, celebrations were muted, but meaningful scientists, soldiers, engineers, and civilians all shared a silent understanding that they were changing the course of history together. Children who had dreamed of space battles now heard that humans were rewriting the rules of war and survival. The alien empire was shaken at the news of the captured general. They realized that the humans were unpredictable, adaptive, and terrifyingly brave. They were a species that could never be ignored or controlled, and the whispers of fear began to ripple through alien ranks as they wondered how a species they called primitive could conquer so much with so little loss. Humanity had proven that courage, intellect, and unity could overcome even the most advanced technologies and the most ruthless commanders. Each success fed the next, and the humans felt a sense of pride and responsibility they had never known before, and they knew that the galaxy would soon recognize that humans were no longer the underdogs. They were the storm. They were the force that others had to reckon with. The humans had tasted victory, and their confidence surged like a tidal wave across every colony, every ship, every settlement, from the frozen moons of Saturn to the jungles of Terra Prime. The alien empires scrambled to regroup, sending massive fleets and reinforcements, but humanity was already several moves ahead. Every fleet commanded by Captain Riaz Malik or Cara Dune executed maneuvers that seemed impossible to any other species. They moved through asteroid fields and planetary rings, striking at weak points that aliens had assumed were secure. They adapted in real time, they improvised, and they coordinated with an efficiency born of necessity and experience. Every human pilot, every engineer, every soldier and civilian knew their role and played it with precision that no alien had ever encountered. On Mars, scientists activated a new defense grid combining electromagnetic pulses and quantum shielding that disrupted alien targeting systems. The fleet used the interference to approach alien ships undetected, striking from directions that the invaders had never considered. Humans on distant colonies sabotaged supply chains and weapon depots, disabling entire divisions before the aliens even realized what had happened. Across the galaxy, humans communicated with signals coded in ways only they could understand, and coordinated attacks that seemed impossible to predict. The alien empires grew desperate as reports of failures and losses flooded their command centers. The generals who had once laughed at humans now paced their chambers, shouting orders that the humans ignored by staying unpredictable and exploiting every hesitation. The captured alien general had provided intelligence that revealed secret supply routes, hidden fleets, and unguarded command stations. Humans struck at each with surgical precision, causing panic and confusion among alien ranks and Terra Prime. Civilians took up arms alongside soldiers, building barricades, operating heavy machinery, and transporting supplies through dangerous zones. Every human contribution counted, and the aliens were unable to comprehend a species that fought as one body with one mind while retaining individual courage and creativity. On a moon orbiting Neptune, Cara Dune led a daring mission to destroy an orbital weapons platform that threatened human colonies. The platform was defended by automated turrets and elite alien soldiers, yet the humans navigated the defenses using stealth intelligence and precise timing, disabling the weapons and turning the installation into a trap that destroyed several alien cruisers. The humans did not celebrate extravagantly. They moved on to the next objective, knowing that the battle was far from over, but that every victory brought them closer to tipping the balance in their favor. The emotional toll was heavy. Some soldiers had lost friends. Others had faced impossible odds, yet each loss strengthened the resolve of those who remained. They fought not only for survival, but for honor, for home, and for the species that the galaxy had underestimated for so long. As alien fleets retreated, to regroup, they realized that humanity was not only a threat, but a force that could never be predicted or controlled. The Vraxi Empress called an emergency council demanding answers, yet the generals had none. They had studied humans, they had mocked humans, yet the humans had rewritten every assumption they held. The galaxy watched in silent awe as humans pressed forward, pushing deeper into enemy territory, striking fear into hearts that had never known it. Before each mission, Captain Malik gathered his team, reminding them that they were writing history, that they were proving that courage, intelligence, and unity could defeat even the most advanced and ruthless empires. Every human knew the stakes, and every human accepted them fully. The alien empire could no longer underestimate humanity, and the humans knew that they had the power to change the course of the galaxy forever. The winds on Mars howled over the canyons as ships took off for the next mission, and the humans moved with unstoppable determination, knowing that they were not only fighting battles but forging a legacy that would echo across the stars and make the galaxy remember that humans were not weak and never would be. The humans had pushed the alien forces back from the outer colonies, and now they were on the offensive, striking deeper into the heart of enemy territory. Every fleet, every squadron moving with purpose and precision. Captain Riaz Malik coordinated with pilots and engineers across multiple star systems using intelligence gathered from captured alien officers and hacked communications. The aliens scrambled to respond, but every move they made was anticipated. The humans seemed to know their strategies before they were even formed. Cara Dune led a daring strike against an alien research station on a moon of Jupiter. The station was protected by energy shields and automated defense drones, yet the humans approached with careful timing and unexpected maneuvers, slipping past the shields and disabling the drones one by one. Their strategy combined speed and ingenuity, using alien weapons against their creators, and every human pilot knew the risks, but moved with unwavering focus. Each explosion from the station sent shockwaves through the alien fleets, causing confusion and panic as they realized that humans were capable of turning their own technology against them. On Earth, scientists monitored alien supply routes and command signals, creating digital maps that allowed human fleets to strike with pinpoint accuracy. Humans on distant colonies coordinated attacks, sabotaging weapon depots and communication arrays. The alien forces could not respond quickly enough, and every strike amplified the fear in the hearts of the invaders. Every human contribution mattered. Soldiers, engineers, medics, and civilians worked in perfect harmony, creating a chain of resilience that the aliens could not break. The captured alien general provided insight into the inner workings of the alien command structure, revealing weaknesses and rivalries that humans exploited, turning their own arrogance into vulnerability. On a station orbiting Saturn, Cara Dune's squad intercepted a convoy carrying experimental alien weapons. The convoy was heavily guarded, but the humans used stealth maneuvers and coordinated attacks, disabling the convoy and capturing the weapons without losing a single pilot. The aliens were baffled. They had never encountered a species that could think so creatively, adapt so quickly, and act with such unity. The humans did not gloat. They prepared for the next mission, knowing that every victory brought new challenges and that the war was far from over. Emotional bonds among human teams strengthened. As they shared victories and losses alike, every human knew that their courage inspired others. and that their actions carried the weight of the entire species across the galaxy. In the Vraxi Council, the Empress raged her generals pleading for answers. While the humans moved through space like shadows striking with relentless efficiency, alien fleets tried to regroup, but human attacks were coordinated across multiple systems using decoys, traps, and rapid maneuvers. They forced the invaders to scatter and abandon key positions. Humanity was no longer simply defending themselves. They were now shaping the battlefield, dictating the pace and tempo of war. On Mars, the skies blazed with human energy beams as pilots executed synchronized strikes, disabling enemy ships while ground teams moved supplies and repaired vessels, ensuring that every operation ran like a well-oiled machine. Even the youngest cadets, who had once only trained in simulations, now faced real combat, showing courage and innovation that confounded their alien adversaries. Across colonies, celebrations were subdued but full of pride. Humans recognized the cost of war and the bravery of those on the front lines. Yet there was no doubt that humanity was becoming a force the galaxy would never forget. As Cara Dune landed after a successful strike, she looked at the horizon at the remains of alien vessels burning in orbit and felt a surge of pride and determination. The humans had taken the fight to the enemy. They had turned the tide, and the aliens now feared the species they had once called weak. The galaxy was beginning to see the truth about humanity, and the humans knew that the final battles would require even more courage, strategy, and unity than ever. Before, the humans had fought battles that had once seemed impossible, and yet they pressed further into the heart of the alien empire, pushing through defenses that were considered impregnable. They moved as one species, with every fleet, every squadron, and every ground team acting in perfect harmony. Captain Riaz Malik surveyed the battlefield from the command bridge of his flagship, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of victory, as reports of successful strikes came from every sector. Cara Dune led a team on the icy moons of Uranus, intercepting an alien convoy that carried experimental weapons of mass destruction. The convoy was guarded by elite alien soldiers and automated turrets, but the humans had learned to anticipate every move using intelligence gathered from previous engagements. They struck with precision, disabling the convoy and capturing the weapons, turning the enemy's advantage into their own. Humans on Mars and the outer colonies coordinated to intercept reinforcements, cutting off supply lines and isolating enemy units. The aliens were forced to retreat from positions they had considered secure, and every failure shook their confidence and spread fear among their ranks. The captured alien general provided insights that allowed human forces to exploit internal rivalries and miscommunications, creating opportunities that seemed almost impossible. On Earth, scientists activated a new fleet of unmanned drones, equipped with adaptive AI that allowed them to anticipate alien maneuvers and respond with lightning speed. The drones struck at critical communication hubs and weapon platforms, crippling the aliens' ability to coordinate across multiple sectors. Meanwhile, human engineers captured alien technology to enhance their ships and weapons, creating hybrid systems that the enemy could not predict or defend against. On a remote asteroid base, Cara Dune and her team faced a desperate alien force attempting a counterattack. They moved through tunnels and corridors using stealth and ingenuity to disable key systems and create traps that destroyed the enemy, while sustaining minimal casualties. Every human understood the stakes and acted with precision, courage, and creativity, showing the galaxy that humanity was not just resilient but unstoppable. The aliens grew increasingly desperate. Their fleets scattered, their commanders panicked, and their soldiers lost morale as human forces pressed forward. They had underestimated humans at every turn, and now the realization of their own vulnerability began to spread across the empire. The humans were relentless, striking from unexpected directions, using speed, strategy, and adaptation to overwhelm forces that had once seemed unbeatable across colonies and How the humans shared a sense of purpose, pride, and unity, knowing that each action contributed to the greater good, that every victory reinforced their determination to protect their species and their home. As human fleets advanced, they discovered alien fortresses and strongholds that had been untouched for centuries. Yet even these fell to coordinated attacks using combined forces of pilots, engineers, soldiers, and strategists. The aliens could not comprehend a species that fought as one. while remaining fiercely individual in courage and creativity. On the command bridge of his flagship, Riaz Malik coordinated the final stages of a major offensive against a critical alien stronghold. The plans were complex, daring, and dangerous, yet the humans were ready with every contingency calculated and every risk assessed. Cara Dune prepared her squad for the assault, knowing that success would cripple the alien empire's ability to retaliate. The anticipation was palpable. Every human involved understood that this battle would define the course of the war and the fate of their species. As the fleet moved into position, ready to strike from multiple directions, the humans demonstrated that courage, intelligence, and unity could achieve what others deemed impossible. The galaxy watched and waited, knowing that the storm humanity had unleashed was about to reach its apex, and that the aliens who had once mocked and underestimated them would soon understand the true power and resolve of the human race. The humans were poised at the edge of the alien empire's heart, and every fleet, every squadron, every soldier and engineer prepared for the assault that would decide the fate of the galaxy. Captain Riaz Malik stood on the bridge of his flagship, scanning the alien stronghold ahead, knowing that decades of planning, training, and sacrifice had led to this moment. Cara Dune and her elite squad readied themselves on the icy moons of Neptune, preparing to infiltrate the enemy command center from below. The humans moved with precision, timing, and courage, striking simultaneously from multiple fronts, creating chaos and confusion among the aliens who could not predict or adapt to the relentless and coordinated assault. Human ships surged through space, weaving between debris and energy fields, disabling alien cruisers with speed and accuracy, while ground forces infiltrated installations, capturing officers and securing critical objectives. Every human understood their role and executed it with focus and ingenuity, improvising when obstacles arose and turning every challenge into an advantage. The aliens fought desperately, trying to repel the humans, but their efforts were uncoordinated and their morale shattered by repeated defeats and the unpredictable tactics of humanity. On Mars, human engineers activated a new series of hybrid weapons using alien technology enhanced with human innovation, creating a storm of energy that disabled enemy defenses and opened corridors for ground teams to advance. The captured alien general watched in disbelief as humans exploited weaknesses and executed maneuvers that he had never imagined possible. He saw a species that combined intelligence, courage, and unity in ways that no empire had ever achieved. Cara Dune's team moved through the tunnels of the alien command center, avoiding traps and neutralizing sentries using silent precision and adaptive strategy. They reached the central control hub, planting devices to disable communication and weapon systems, ensuring that no reinforcements could reach the remaining alien forces. The alien commanders panicked as reports of their defenses collapsing reached them. They realized too late that the humans had anticipated every move and were executing a plan that left them powerless and exposed. Captain Malik led the final strike from orbit, coordinating with every team on the ground in a symphony of precision, strategy, and courage. The humans struck at the heart of the alien empire, using every advantage they had gained from years of struggle and innovation. The alien fleets were overwhelmed, their strongholds disabled, and their command centers captured, and as the smoke and fire spread across the galaxy, the humans pressed on, showing no mercy but no cruelty, only resolve and determination to end the war on their terms. Across colonies and planets, humans celebrated quietly but with pride, knowing that the sacrifices made had secured the survival and respect of their species. Families and soldiers, engineers and pilots shared a moment of understanding that they had changed the galaxy forever. The Vraxi Empress and her generals faced the humans for the first time, not with arrogance or derision, but with awe and fear. They realized that humanity was no longer a primitive species to be dismissed. They were a force of nature, a storm that had swept through the galaxy, teaching every species that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the most powerful empires. As Captain Malik surveyed the aftermath, he knew that humanity had proven itself not through domination but through resilience, adaptation, and cooperation. Every human who had fought and survived understood that their story would echo across the stars, and that the galaxy would never forget the species that had risen from a small blue planet to challenge and overcome the most advanced civilizations. The humans had unleashed hell and responded, with a reason to get really nasty, showing the universe that when pushed to the edge they would rise and conquer every obstacle, every enemy, every impossibility, and the galaxy would remember forever the strength, the courage, and the ingenuity of humanity. The galaxy was silent after the storm of human fury had passed. The alien fleets lay broken. The once mighty strongholds were reduced to ruins, and the empires that had mocked humanity trembled at the name of the species that had risen from a small blue planet. Captain Riaz Malik walked through the bridge of his flagship, feeling the weight of countless victories and the losses that had come with them. He watched the stars through reinforced glass, knowing that every human who had fought and survived had changed the fate of their species forever. Cara Dune stood beside him, her eyes scanning the remnants of the alien command centers on distant planets, her mind filled with the courage and ingenuity of every human who had dared to challenge the impossible. They had faced enemies that had thought themselves gods. They had turned despair into opportunity, and every action had been a message to the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated. The colonies were buzzing with life. Humans were rebuilding, repairing, and fortifying their worlds, sharing stories of courage, strategy, and sacrifice. Families welcomed back their heroes. Engineers and pilots were celebrated for their brilliance, and soldiers for their unwavering resolve. Every human contribution had mattered, and every human had proven that intelligence, creativity, and unity could achieve what no single species could imagine. On Terra Prime, a monument was erected to honor the courage and resilience of every human who had fought in the great conflict. It was not a monument to war, but to the spirit that had carried them through impossible odds. The alien empires who had once declared humans primitive now sent emissaries offering respect and tentative alliances, recognizing that the galaxy had changed forever. Humans met them with cautious diplomacy and unwavering pride, knowing that they had earned a place in the stars not by conquest, but by proving that when challenged, they could rise beyond every expectation and obstacle. The lessons of the war spread across human settlements. Young cadets trained with stories of strategy, courage, and ingenuity, instilling in them the knowledge that they were capable of shaping their destiny and defending their species against any threat. The scientists continued to innovate, engineers continued to create, and soldiers continued to train, knowing that the galaxy would always test humanity. But humanity had already shown that they could overcome anything. Captain Malik and Cara Dune looked out at the stars, knowing that the battles had forged a new era for humans. The galaxy would never again dismiss them. The civilizations that had once laughed at Earth now watched with respect and fear, and the humans had learned that the true power of their species lay not in weapons or ships, but in courage, unity, creativity, and an indomitable spirit that could not be broken. The humans had unleashed hell, and the galaxy had witnessed what it meant when a species decided to fight back with everything they had, and the universe would never forget that humans had finally found a reason to get really nasty, and they had done it with honor and brilliance. The end.